Good morning and welcome back to another week, everybody. It's April still. I think it's been April for 4 years. April 27th, and we're back for another live stream. We've got today Taylor Dolben, who's almost even more new than I am to Instructure. I've been here about 5-6 months, and Taylor, you've been here.
I started in December, so 4 maybe.
4. So we're both newbies. But you'll learn very quickly in this presentation. Taylor is 100% serious all of the time. There's no humor. That's what you get. Go check out his LinkedIn profile and you'll give yourself some really good laughs because what I just told you is not true. But Taylor's going to talk to you today about creating a free ePortfolio. And I'm going to hand it over to Taylor. Taylor, take it away.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining today. As Mark said, my name is Taylor. This thing that you see on my face here is me committing to not shaving for the entirety of that I'm stuck at home, working at home for COVID. So I apologize. You have to look at this. And the last thing that I think my wife would want me to disclose is this little cut you see on my nose. This weekend, we were roasting marshmallows with my kids, and I wanted to demonstrate how to roast the perfect marshmallow. And in doing so, set it on fire, went to blow it out, and then burned, and then hit my nose. And then my skin is now burned and peeling off my nose. So it was a great weekend. As Mark said, it's still April and COVID still is going. So I think the first thing that I would want to say too is thank you to all you teachers, administrators, faculty out there that are on the front lines helping students transition. And if you're a student joining this, it's great to have you. I know that it's learning at home right now is challenging. So when I was talking to Mark, we thought it might be helpful to show you a little bit on how you can create your own free portfolio on portfolium.com. You may not know, but Canvas actually acquired Portfolium about a year ago. And there are some cool integrations with Canvas that we could show you another time. But right now, while sitting at home, maybe you have some more spare time, reflecting on learning, creating an ePortfolio is a fantastic way to just show some of the great stuff that you've learned, some of the stuff that you're doing. If you're picking up some new skills or projects besides binging on Netflix at home, building an ePortfolio is a fantastic way to showcase some of the stuff that you're doing. So I'll walk you through some tips and tricks today on how you can build it. It really only takes just a few minutes. So if you do have questions on that, you can submit those questions over. Mark will queue those up for me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have on creating an ePortfolio. So we'll go ahead and get started. What we're going to do today, so I'm going to do it on portfolium.com because I think there's a lot of advantages. I know there are a lot of ways to create an ePortfolio. I'll walk you through some of the advantages that I think you have by creating one at portfolium.com, specifically being able to attach all of your student work directly to it to show employers or colleges or whatever you're preparing for. I think the big challenge right now, right, is that through education, students are learning so much and they're acquiring so many skills. But the question is how do we enable students to showcase those skills directly, show employers or show universities the awesome stuff that you're doing and the evidence of it? So many times we submit a one-page resume and that's all it is. It's one page. Anyone can put anything on that resume. There's no real evidence showing you what you can actually do with that. And we want to better equip you as students or even faculty members and teachers to be able to showcase the awesome stuff you've done. And in my own personal experience, before we create one, I'll show you, my brother's in high school. I texted him this morning and told him that I was going to pick on him on this. This is an example of a profile. My brother is in high school. And a few weeks, right before all this COVID stuff started, he was getting ready to apply for some internships over the summer. And he was asking me about building a resume. And I told him, well, you should just create a quick ePortfolio, quick folio, and include the link to that folio right at the top of your resume to show some of the stuff you're doing. And if you're a student, the first thing I want to point out is so many times when I bring this up, just like my brother, he's like, well, I don't do anything cool. Like, well, what do you mean? I just go to school and do my homework. And I pushed on that a little bit more. And within a few minutes, I'll show you some of the projects. It's amazing to me to see college students and high school students with these passion projects that so often get left off of resumes that that I think truly show their individualism, their individuality, and their passion and their drive, right? I mean, when we were going through just my younger brothers, it turns out that when he was 12 years old, while I was binging on Guitar Hero and building true skills of beating, through the fire and flames on Expert, my 12-year-old brother had got his hands on a camera and had built his own stop motion video that was 2 or 3 minutes long, and had taken 3,000 pictures and put them together into his stop motion video. And to me, that's amazing. And to be able to attach that and show that to people shows a totally different side of you as a student. Additionally, an example here, my brother wanted to build an arcade machine. So he found some old wood, cut the wood out, found some graphics, mounted a monitor into it, connected a Raspberry Pi, which, if you're not familiar, is not the actual thing that you enjoy eating, but is a small computer that you can program yourself and attach that to this monitor, and was able to build this thing from scratch and build together his own arcade machine. I mean, those types of things, in addition to the coursework and classes that you're doing, are so amazing for students. And to bring that all together and be able to showcase it in one place is really what I want to enable you to do today. So we're going to go ahead and, there are a few profiles that I've showed you here. This is a quick glance at what you can do. When you jump into your profile, if you are a university student that's created LinkedIn or faculty, you notice that it looks somewhat like your typical social media platform, and that's intentional so that you can use it easily. But to be able to drop in and just quickly see, okay, this is a quick blurb about myself, name. This is a quick overview of me, my work experience, my education, adding some skills here on this left side to show the things that I can do, and be able to quickly go through work experience and education and the courses that I've completed and my accomplishments and clubs and affiliations and programs, all so easily viewable. And then Portfolio shows those projects and accomplishments directly, and those are attached on your portfolio, as I just showed you. So many times, right, on a resume, someone might list all of these skills on the left side, and it's like, well, how am I supposed to know if you're actually good at Adobe Photoshop if you've just rated yourself 4 out of 5 stars on your resume? Well, the beautiful thing about an ePortfolio on Portfolium is that now I can click on these skills, and it takes me to the projects that Sophia has attached here that shows her ability to use Adobe Photoshop. So she's attached these things that she's done, and those can be viewed, and she can reflect on those. She includes a description and includes the skills that she's created. It's pretty cool stuff. So I'll show you how to make this morning. And we're going to do so in the context of a famous Office star, Jim Halpert, the actor played John Krasinski. Especially with what he's been doing with some of these good news interviews and stuff. So I'll walk you through how to do this morning. We'll go fairly quickly. So much of it you can do on your own, but we'll give you a good start. So you'll go to portfolium.com. You'll go ahead and you'll click join if you have not already created one. This will walk you through a quick, easy process. You'll enter your email. You'll also indicate which school you're a part of. So, I can hurry and we'll do a little John Krasinski thing here. And once you create your profile, if your school already has what we call a network, where they've already created a group for you, it will automatically add you to that. But you may not, if you don't have a school that you're currently attending, or if it doesn't pull up, that's fine. You can skip this step. And then you'll fill out just a few things about yourself. I would submit John Krasinski here, my password. I'm currently an undergraduate student. Birthday, John Krasinski's birthday, I did some homework here, is actually October 20th, 1979. Sorry, John. And then once you go ahead and click continue, it'll ask you just a few questions about yourself, like the skills that you have and current things that you're studying. And then when you go ahead and do that, you'll be dropped right into your profile just like this. So you see here we have John Krasinski. John Krasinski actually attended Brown University and started as an English major. So we're going to pretend we're back in school with John here. And you can go ahead and click on your profile, and we'll go ahead and we'll build this out now. So you can see it's a little sparse, a little empty. So we'll start by, you can easily just add your profile picture here. So I'm going to go ahead and let's find a picture of John. I pulled one before here that I think John would want to use. So let's go ahead. That seems appropriate. And we'll go ahead and save that. So in just a few seconds, we've uploaded John Krasinski's profile pic here. As you can see, he's got a better beard than I do or ever will have. Part of the reason probably why he's famous. Add a few things like current position or current location, right? If he was attending Brown University, then he would be in Providence, Rhode Island, and we can save that, and we're well on our way. So now let's look at let's look at, okay, skills, attachment, projects. How can we attach these? So when you first create your account, it's going to ask you some skills that you have, and you can add more of these at any time. So in this case, I would probably add a skill like acting, and maybe I would add a skill also for screenwriting or screenplay writing, scripting, or something like that. And we can show all of these skills that we have on our profile here. But screenplay writing isn't enough, right? That we need to be able to show what we've done there, to be able to demonstrate that we have evidence of that skill. So if you click on these three dots here on your profile, you can say prove skill. And if you actually look at some of what John Krasinski did, we're going to follow kind of his career a little bit here, and we'll start with some of the first work that he did. He was actually an intern on the Conan O'Brien show before he started in The Office. So maybe he did some work on that. But right now, let's add something that he did. He co-wrote a movie called The Promised Land with Matt Damon. Turns out, he worked with Matt Damon. So we'll put The Promised Land here. And maybe I want to upload, maybe he wants to upload a file of that screenplay so people could actually see what he wrote. So I've actually grabbed a PDF here of a screenplay, a fake screenplay, and I can upload that. I can click the category that I want here, and I'll do this, creative and performance, and then a chance for you to add a description. If you're adding a description, remember, this is a description that everybody's going to see. So it's probably good if you don't write 10,000 words on everything that happened throughout the entire project and how Matt Damon maybe got a little bit upset about some things that you didn't want to include. Then you got mad at him, but turns out that he played in the Bourne Ultimatum and the Bourne Supremacy, and so you probably don't want to fight him, right? But leaving out some of those dirty details, sharing the things that are smart here. So I might say, had the opportunity to write a script to a fantastic movie with Matt Damon, and add a few other things. Keep it short. And then you get to decide what skills this helped you build. So we're already proving the screenplay writing skill, but there might be some other skills that this helped you with, right? Maybe you actually did have a good chunk of project management that went along with writing a screenplay. You could add some more of those skills here. We could add Matt Damon if we wanted as our coworker here. And additional tags that people could search with, but then we'll go ahead and publish this project. So here's this published project. You can see how amazing my screenplay is, right? Lots of diversity of word choice. Here's that description. Here are those skills. And now anybody who views my ePortfolio, right, my folio here, can come see these skills. And, you say, okay, you think, screenplay writing, that's important. Okay. And we've added the demonstration of that skill there. Additionally, other skills that can be demonstrated, of course, by these projects that we've added. So to fully see those, right, on the profile, someone can come click these skills and view them, or they can come in directly to your portfolio just to see all of the projects that you've added. So let's look at another piece of John's profile. So we added a skills piece there that was demonstrated with a project. Let's go ahead and add an accomplishment. So something that you may not know about John Krasinski is that he loves animation and was asked to dub the English version of a movie called The Wind Rises. And so John would probably add that to his profile. So I would say the Wind Rises and say, had the opportunity. I actually pulled a quote here from when John got this job. Animation, he says, animation now is such an incredible medium, and there's so much going on. If I can type here. There's no one doing animation like Miyazaki, who produced this or created this movie. It's more like a moving Renoir painting. or something. So, and there's more to this quote, but we'll go ahead and stop it there. And that's a direct quote from him. So we'll include that description. He did this back in 2013. Sorry, I don't remember the exact date, but we'll go ahead and add that here. We'll say it was in June, or let's say it's April. April takes up the entire year these days. So let's just assume it was April. And then we'll add an image for it. So I'll go ahead and let's grab The Wind Rises. There's the perfect. We'll upload that. Maybe in the description we would want to say, right, had the opportunity to provide the voiceover dub for this movie or something. We'll save changes. So now we'll go ahead and click done. And now it's added to our accomplishments. So someone could scroll through, click on this piece here, and The Wind Rises. They can click on this. They can see, oh, look at that project. If they were to view this profile, it would look just a little bit differently because we get to edit our profile. But someone could scroll through and see these accomplishments. And then let's go ahead and attach. We'll scroll back up to the top here. It's good to add some of your work experience so that people can linearly follow what you did. So as I mentioned beforehand, I said that John Krasinski was an intern for the Conan O'Brien show. So we'll add some work experience for him here. So if, believe it or not, I am telling the truth. And if you don't believe me, and John, this is public. Okay. This is on Conan O'Brien's website. So I didn't go through any secrets here to get this, but this is a picture of John Krasinski as an intern on the Conan O'Brien show in the summer of 2000. So we'll add that. Probably, right, we probably wouldn't use this as his profile picture, but it's certainly something worth adding if you happen to be an intern on the Conan O'Brien show. So maybe Conan O'Brien, maybe the company is technically NBC, but we'll go ahead and say Conan O'Brien show. And he was a script intern. So he actually, we'll put script intern, and he actually reviewed jokes within the monologues for Conan O'Brien for a period of time. And also along with, I'm spacing her name, with the individual who plays Kelly in The Office too. They were both interns on. So on the Conan O'Brien show. And it turns out, 2001. So we'll just leave that in 2001. And I can't remember if he did it for more than a year or so, but we'll assume it was about a year. So we'll put 2001. We'll save changes. So now you can see how awesome this is. So now we're building this out. Script intern, Conan O'Brien. Let's say that there were actually actual scripts that he could publish or attach here. Again, you can add or attach any of the projects that were associated with that work experience. So someone could not only see, oh, you were a script intern, but could click and see, this is all the work or the key highlights of the work. And that's one of the tips and tricks we would offer here is that you're going to do a lot of work as a student, and you're going to write hundreds of papers and hundreds of math pages worth of math homework pages. No one wants to see all of it, not even your mom. And so making sure that you're going through those best pieces of work and finding those best pieces of yourself to click and attach here. Because while this does afford you the ability to add anything and everything, that doesn't mean that's the right thing to do here. But it's best to go ahead and find those pieces that best exemplify the work that you've done, the individual, some of the areas of passion that you found, even the direction you want to go to show people that's where you want to be, and to put that work there. Janaya, thank you. Mindy Kaling, that's exactly who it was who plays Kelly. Thank you. I spaced her name. Shout out to you for getting that name. And I also think, I'm going to test you now, Janaya, Erin Hannon, who also plays on The Office. I also think she was a script intern. I'm not sure if it was the Conan O'Brien show. Can you remember her name? Because I am spacing it right now as well. And if you have questions about this as we're going through, as Mark mentioned, I have the questions up here, and he's also sending me some of those. So if you have some questions as we're going through this, please send these over. Speaking of which, Hildy, thank you. So question is, since we are a K-12 institution, is there a way portfolium could be limited to within our district? That's a great question. There are some things that you can do. We, of course, honor those K-12 privacy pieces. So a student underneath the age of 13 wouldn't be able to come in and create a profile. If they are above the age 13, they can actually, if they come through portfolium.com on their own, they can choose, they can then customize to show whether that profile is private or public. As far as being able to restrict that within your district, we do at Portfolium have some ways that you can engage, can kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, garden wall it to ensure that students that are coming through are a part of your network, have some privacy controls there. So would be happy to set you up with someone who could give you a little bit more information on some of the privacy pieces and some of the other things. We call that folio management for K-12 institutions. Janaya, you did it again. Ellie Kemper, AKA Kimmy Schmidt. Thank you. I'm sure I'm going to be looking to you for a few more questions here as we keep going. So you can see so John Krasinski's getting a pretty good profile here. And if, if we wanted to see, I'll show you in a second how you can view this profile to give you kind of a more comprehensive view of what it looks like. But let's go ahead and add a few more things to it. So something that's worth noting, right, is that, again, is if and you probably already heard me harp on this like 50 times, but you'll continue to hear me do it because I think it's so critical, is that it's so important to show the rigor and the evidence behind the things that you're accomplishing. That's so important. So what at the bottom of this, what you actually see is a section called badges. And Portfolium has, we've partnered with Badger. We also have another solution that was called Pathways that enables institutions to build out pathways and attach milestones and badges to them. But what we found for so long is that when students are issued a badge, they're either stuck within the LMS, or they get lost along the way, or they go unclaimed. Or if they do have them and they put it on their resume, it's so hard for an employer to know, well, what did this person actually do to get the leadership badge? What does that actually mean? So what we have set up here is that I've enrolled John Krasinski here in a few tasks. Super solid on the acting side, but maybe he needs a little bit more of leadership. I think he did the leadership badge before he did The Quiet Place. You can see how well he played leader in The Quiet Place. So these are some badges that he's currently enrolled in. If we go back to his profile, oops, sorry, not jobs, but back to his profile, you'll see that he completed the leadership badge early this morning. He's on top of it. And what you can do is you can click on that badge. And if I click on it, I can see all of the work that he had to do to earn that badge. We call that the earning path. So he completed the first leadership experience. These were the skills he got. And these are the projects that he had to do, leadership and civic engagement. And I can click on that milestone, see the actual work that he did, the skills associated with it. To show you another view of this, right, student leadership pathway, here's a quick view at the earning path. First year leadership experience. They need to go through a course assignment module, go through a career readiness reflection. And you can even include, those badges, once the individual completes them, are automatically added to their ePortfolio. So boom, automatically sent over, automatically stored. And then additionally, anyone who comes there and see that they earn that badge can see all of the projects that they completed, even their scores if you want to make that visible, and then that earning path. What did they actually have to do? What did they actually have to develop? What did they actually complete as evidence of this badge? And you can do that with any, we see students who have earned quite a few different badges. You can build out, we call them even stackable, right? Because you can make badges a milestone on another badge so that they're continually growing as they go through, okay, let's earn the leadership 1 badge, but let's say it's leadership 2 or leadership advanced, right? You can see that now John is in critical practice level 2. You can say that in order to even earn critical practice, critical practice level 2, the first milestone could be earning badge level 1. And you can stack those pathways that way and even import Canvas assignments from other learning management systems and other things to make these earning paths fully flexible and fully stackable. Some really cool stuff you can do that's for another time, but definitely worth noting here. So the last thing I'll add here, and before I give you kind of some other cool things that you can do with this, is let's look at one last project, something that you may not know. You do know that John starred in The Office as Jim Halpert. When Jim wanted to know, when Jim became the paper salesman, he wanted to actually know what selling paper in Scranton, Pennsylvania was like. So he went there and talked with a bunch of different companies just to get a feel, but then he also filmed the city. And what you may not know is that when he filmed shots of it, those shots that he made actually became the opening scene or the Office intro. These are all shots that he took when he first went there to learn about it. Cool project. So let's go ahead and add that project to his profile. So we'll go ahead and we'll attach one more project here. Maybe we want to do that as his introductory project. So we'll go ahead and add one more thing here. Again, projects. Let's go ahead and add new project here. And this is the cool part about Portfolium. You can add any type of project to it. So we'll say the Office intro. And up until now, you've seen me add a few up files, but this time we'll just paste the link. We'll grab that link. We'll paste that link here. Category, let's go ahead with creative and performance again. And description, I wanted to learn about how to sell paper in Scranton, Pennsylvania, because you know most people do, and decided to take some shots. And you know, we can add, maybe there was some video editing there, some graphic design, some interviewing maybe, because he was interviewing those people, so we'll add that skill. We'll go ahead and publish. You can send this to social media if you want, but in this case, I'm not going to have it go to John's Twitter. And there it is. Now it's embedded, right? So the awesome thing is especially for video projects like this, you can upload and assign those, upload those and attach them. And now anyone can just come to your profile and with one click can start viewing these projects that you've completed. All within your profile. You don't need to send them out to a billion different places. Again, I attached an earlier project here. John Krasinski helped write and produce, was the director of A Quiet Place with his wife, Emily Blunt. We won't watch this trailer now, especially if you're of younger age. Be sure to ask your parents before you engage in this content. But now we've kind of got a pretty full profile here for John. We built out a good chunk of projects. We built out a good chunk of skills. We've got some badges and pathways. Now it's at a point of shareability. So the cool thing about this, right, is that you can share this via a link very easily. This link is up here at the top of your profile, so you can just click copy to clipboard. And what I often, I had my little brother do it, and then I recommend it to others, is put this at the top of your resume. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, and even if you do, I think it's so worth including your Portfolium link, because then it gives a way more in-depth view of these projects that you've done. And if it's a PDF resume, people can just click on it to go straight to it. If it's paper, you can actually customize this link directly within Portfolium. If you go to settings, you can change that link so that it's randomly generated when you join, but you can customize that and make it your own. I just make mine. If you look at my actual profile that I've created for myself, you can see if I go to my profile here, I've just changed it so it's just portfolium.com/Taylor Dalton. That's what I would recommend for most. Just portfolium.com/your name, so that it's very easy for people to type in and come in and view. Some other tips and tricks that I'll share here before we end for questions is to be able to download this. You can download a one-page summary of your profile or download the entire thing, so that if you do need to share an actual hard copy version of this via email, via PDF, or even printable, this can become this kind of source of truth for you. And I know that, as a student, or even now with me as an individual, if there are key projects at work that I'm completing as a product marketer, I do things around messaging or positioning or competitive intelligence, I can just start to store those in my folio. And over time, this is kind of my repository, my bucket for all of the stuff that I'm doing, so that if I ever need to just download that and be able to take it with me somewhere, or as I need to pull and push things out to people that I may be interviewing with, or employers or schools or things like that, I can just kind of have a one-stop shop to be able to share all of the stuff that I'm working on. There's a lot of cool things about this that I haven't touched yet today. The last piece that I will show you is this social feed that we have. That so much of the value of building something like this is being able to share with those that you're connected with and be able to connect with others and learn from them. And that's such a staple for us at Canvas within the portfolium network, is that you can, what have you been working on, you can share a project here and share it with those that you're connected with. And not only that, if I'm looking for ideas or inspiration, I can just come to this Discover piece here and look at all of the categories that people are working on, business, for example. And here's a feed of projects that students are publishing, whether that I'm connected with them or not, and start to see this is the cool stuff that students are working on. And students can now like and comment on stuff that their peers are working on. And as you mentioned, Hildy, with being within your own district, you can actually just see things that are happening with your own network, and students can engage with each other. And it creates this interesting social environment where you can be exposed to new things, find motivation for new projects, gather ideas, and it adds just this really cool social component to it all. So I'll go ahead and pause there for a minute. I know that we've covered a lot on building a profile here. Would love to see any questions that you have about creating this. Mark, if you've seen any questions come through as well, feel free to jump in and chime in on those, and we can answer any questions here before we wrap up.
I think we've nailed most of them. If anybody has any, we'll be on for just a couple more quick minutes, so throw them into the chat pod. Taylor, as you look at what are really the top things, as you've worked with your brother, as you were building out your own, or John Krasinski's, or whomever else, what are the top 3 things people need to remember as they're building out their own ePortfolio?
Good question. So I know I promised you guys 10 tips and tricks here, and I think I've kind of failed to call those out exclusively. I think we've kind of baked them all in. But if I were to say kind of the top 3, 4, or 5 things, this is what I would focus on: adding media. Right? Add the evidence of the showcase, add the evidence of the things that you're working on. Let those projects show what you're doing, right? The whole don't tell, but show, right? A resume allows you to tell people, but a portfolio, an ePortfolio, allows you to show yourself. And that's a quote from Frozen 2 as my kids are watching it. But that's such a key piece of it. Number 2, tag your skills, right? Build out those skills on the left side of your ePortfolio, and back up those, as I mentioned, and I've done it. John Krasinski's done a better job of me on backing that up with evidence. And I can jump back over to his profile, but add those skills on that left side, and then let those skills, as I said, add that media and let those skills be proven. That's such a crucial piece. Third one. And I'll add maybe 2 more. Put your best work first, right? You're going to be tempted to dump all the stuff that you've ever done, and it's tempting because you think the typical thought here is that more is better. But on an ePortfolio, I would dare say that less is more. That picking your polished work, the work that you're truly proud of, putting that on your portfolio and putting it at the top, right here on your introduction. Add those projects that you are most proud of. Because, in an environment today when we have to deliver so quickly and attention is quickly lost, put that best stuff first. The last one that I would put is present a well-rounded, version of yourself. There are likely so many things that you're doing that are valuable, that potential employers or schools would find valuable, that differentiate you from people. And you may not even realize what those are, right? As I was talking to my younger brother, as I mentioned, like creating stop motion videos or creating ceramic work on his own, those are truly differentiating things that help define you as an individual. And a lot of the time, you may not even think that that's worth demonstrating, but it is. So take some time to reflect and think about what are some things that I'm doing outside of coursework and outside of school, and attach those to present a truly well-rounded version of yourself. I think those would be the top ones.
Awesome. Thanks, Taylor. Everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We had a big crowd. We'll be back again tomorrow at 10:30. So check us out online. Taylor, thanks again. Everybody go check out portfolium.com so you can set up your own free ePortfolio. Question came in at the last minute there from Hans. Taylor, is Portfolium thought more for students only, or could it be used for professionals as well?
100% both. We see both. Absolutely. They're, students 100%, of course, and I've highlighted that a lot here, but we see a lot of it used for professional development, and we see a lot of professional, especially faculty and students and outside of education, just professionals being able to attach their work, right? LinkedIn does a phenomenal job of being able to connect with others and is that kind of professional social network, but it doesn't give you the ability to actually attach the work that you've done, whether you're a graphic designer or a marketer or whatever it is. So being able to, you can and use those links so that they can link to each other, right? You can create a seamless link from your LinkedIn to Portfolium and Portfolium to LinkedIn. So those both can go hand in hand and don't necessarily need to compete. So absolutely both.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. This will be available on Instructure.com shortly. Go check it out, as well as the other 25 plus that we've created. Taylor, thanks for coming, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks so much.